Hi everyone, in this video I will walk you through how to generate a cash receipt template in Blue Onion specifically for QuickBooks Online users. A cash receipt template allows you to book incoming cash from payment processors like Stripe, Shopify Payments, PayPal, or Amazon into QuickBooks in a structured and repeatable way. By the end of this video, you will know how to configure a cash receipt view, how to structure it correctly for QuickBooks, and how to export the journal entry and import into QuickBooks if you don't want to automate your pushes. So to start, we're going to navigate to our journal entries to the Explorer view. This is where we'll build the cash receipt logic before saving it as a reusable template. So let's build the structure. First, what I recommend is actually toggling to export view because I find this view to be a lot easier to see. Second, we're going to select the journal entry type at cash receipt. From here, you're going to determine what date range you want to view. In this case, I've selected the month of January. In the cash receipt journal entry, this differs slightly from your orders, cancellation, and revenue recognition in that we group by payment processor. So in your group by, you're going to see payment system account, channel, and location. Whereas in the other journal entry templates, we saw the grouping by order system. So in this journal entry, you can see that we do a debit to cash and a credit to your AR or your clearing account. In this journal entry, we're also booking everything, all of the fees, adjustments, any chargebacks, any advertising, any specific payment types that you typically see on your payouts will be booked here in this journal entry. What I recommend at the bare minimum is breaking out your Shopify and Amazon cash receipt journal entries because it allows you to do easier, more condensed, and direct reconciliation for your different payment processors. So in this case, I will show you how to create a journal entry specifically for Shopify. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually filter by payment system account. I'm going to select everything besides Amazon here. And once that loads, you can see now the journal entry is just showing you the details of the Shopify payment processors. So again, we have that debit to cash, credit to AR. Once I've determined that this is the type of journal entry I want to configure, I'm now going to select the templates. You can see here a list of all of the templates that you've already generated. To create a new one, you're simply going to select the blue bar at the top titled Create Template. I have already created a cash receipt, so I'm going to select the Edit template to show you how I would configure this template based off of the view we were looking at before. So I'm going to title this at Cash Receipt Shopify. I've decided that I want to group by payment system account. Here you can see all of the different filter options, and in this case, I've decided that I want to include everything besides Amazon. So instead of selecting all of the different payment system accounts, I'm going to actually go is not Amazon because that ensures that all of the data is collected for all of the other payment processors. Once I've determined that that is now complete, I can also select Shopify here as a second layer of filtering. I now need to configure my journal entries. So the first item you will be required to select is daily. Right now, Blue Onion only posts journal entries on a daily basis. So this is indicating that we would push journal entries from Blue Onion to QuickBooks daily. You'll need to set your number of days lag. My recommendation is to set it at 1 since we have adjustments already built into the application. For adjustments, this is really going to allow you to determine if any data changes from the day that you booked the journal entry. You can post adjusting journal entries or have Blue Onion automatically post adjusting journal entries via the application. You have the option of cadence daily, weekly, monthly, or none. Once you determine that cadence, that's when we will actually post those adjusting journal entries for you. And then the last piece is actually determining when you want Blue Onion to start automatically pushing journal entries from Blue Onion into QuickBooks. For now, I'm going to set a future date because most likely you'll want to do some manual testing before you set up that automation. Once I update the template, you'll see that now under the filters, there's the filters that I've established in the template. There's also 4 icons over here on the right. So the edit button, you can edit any of the filters if you change your mind. The second icon is to actually preview and trigger pushes into QuickBooks. Previewing the journal entry will allow you to see an export of the journal entry, and pushing to the GL will actually trigger a push from Blue Onion into QuickBooks. Here you can select multiple date ranges, or you can select one date at a time. If you select multiple date ranges, let's say I go from 2/1 to 2/7, this is going to push 7 individual journal entries into QuickBooks. If you have established this is the date range you want, you would then simply push to GL, and it will take several minutes to generate those journal entries. The third icon is your configuration for general ledger accounts. So for every line item, in order to successfully push this to QuickBooks, you need to make sure that everything is mapped to the right chart of accounts from QuickBooks. Once you've integrated QuickBooks with Blue Onion, we will automatically populate your chart of accounts. It will be up to you to create the templates and select the right chart of accounts for every single line item for your templates. Once you've completed that, you will now be able to push. At any moment, you can disable these templates and recreate a new one. Disabling, you will just simply select that trash button. Again, if you go back to the Explorer page, you will see Interactive View and Template View. Template View will be the saved journal entries under Templates, and you can actually see the data that we would ultimately post to QuickBooks, and you can also see the general ledgers accounts that we mapped for every single line item. Once you've determined how you want to set up your cash receipt journal entry, you simply just test, identify the cadence, and you can begin your pushes automatically from Blue Onion to QuickBooks. Thank you.